Are we live?
I don't know.
Hold on, this is the first time we've done this.
It says you're live.
It says I'm live. Oh my god, there we go.
Okay,
cool.
So apparently you're live.
Apparently we are live. This is actually our very first live stream
Probably
we've done.
should have told people you were going to do it.
Oh, that's okay. We're going to see if anybody actually shows up. Now,
But they don't.
If
Anyway,
they don't, if they don't show up, then we will just keep a recording
We'd
of
be like
this
talking to
stream.
ourselves. We do that. I do that often, especially around you.
Yeah, so we'll just we will actually put this out on CLOWNFISH TV.
Anyway, so why
So
are
we're
we
all-
here? Why are we here,
We're
Neon?
all riled up about toxic fandom. Yeah,
Me
actually,
more so than you.
Geeky Sparkles is all wound up about toxic fandom.
I don't like the terms. Well, first of all, you didn't say who we were.
Well, yeah, they know who we are.
That's Neon.
I'm Neon. This is
I'm Geeky Sparkles. Okay. No.
And we're live, and you can tell this is live because I have to do so much editing to our.
Well, yeah, probably
shows,
because
so.
of me, and I get ranty, and the cars that come by because we're by a busy street. But anyway, I hate the terms toxic masculinity and toxic fandom.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I think a lot of people are starting to hate the terms toxic masculinity and toxic fandom. So what kind of let's talk about this, how this was prompted. The term toxic fandom has been going around a lot lately in the last couple of weeks, especially with Star Wars.
Yes.
Okay, and I've got if you can see on your screen here, I've got pulled up the sci-fi, which this is one of the worst headlines I think in the history of pop culture media ever. Like, Star Wars has a white male fandom problem. I take a lot of issue with this headline. Now, this is actually from a couple of weeks ago, but they're talking about the alleged harassment of Kelly Marie Tran, who plays Rose Tico in The Last Jedi. People didn't like The Last Jedi. Allegedly, she's been harassed off of Instagram or whatever. That was a couple of weeks ago. But since then, the term toxic fandom just keeps popping up again and again and again and again. So it's become like any fan who doesn't like the direction that their IP is going in or whatever, they're toxic. They can't.
Okay, a couple things here. One, do I think a toxic fandoms exist? Yes, I do. I do think there are such things as toxic anything, because I think there are people that go too far. I'll start with that. But what I have a problem with is the overuse of the term toxic fandom, man baby fans, all that kind of stuff. Because what I'm seeing is that if you disagree with them, they don't like it, any disagreement now becomes you're toxic fandom.
Right.
And there are things that are toxic. I mean, if you really legitimately chase somebody off of the internet, that's crap. And I do not like Rose, but the girl that plays her, I actually thought was very sweet. And I hope that she wasn't chased off by people. But there are extremes, and that would be the toxic people. But most people don't fall into that category. And
No.
Unfortunately, that's the label they're giving anybody who disagrees with them.
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, it's just it's really become, well, okay, so it reached point ridiculousness or peak ridiculousness. Sorry, again, I can't edit this out
You
because
can't speak. What else is new?
I can't speak.
He misspeaks
I'm
a
so
lot.
frustrated with and this has been going around the last couple of days now, and this is from Diversity in Comics, his video on the subject, because the tweets are gone. This is Joe Quiones, who is the artist of, or was the artist of, America Chavez.
I'm sorry, I still think it looks like cojones. And you
Joe
cannot have
Cojones.
cojones in comics anymore.
Yes.
That's
So,
a no-no.
We're talking about this toxic fandom, and he came out with I guess it's 2 or 3 days ago. He's beginning a campaign to remake Toxic Fandom. Who's with me? You had a whole bunch of indie comics types, and he's basically demanding that comic book customers kowtow to his sensibilities
doesn't
if
work
they're
that
going to
way.
be led into the. I mean, this is sort of like the soup Nazi,
Well,
isn't it? Like,
I want to know, if I go to a shop, do I have to take a test now before I'm allowed to buy anything? Like,
Yeah,
do
they
you
have-
have to be quizzed? Do you believe these things before you're allowed to purchase anything?
you may be on a blacklist if you go to a shop and
Now, see,
you've
I'll automatically-
supported certain people. You might be kicked out of that
I'll
shop.
automatically get preferential treatment because I'm a female.
Right.
Because they can't be mean to me because I'm a female, and then we can't do that. But I'm just saying. I mean, first of all, he took this down, didn't he?
He did take it down. That's why I had to go pull up Diversity in Comics video on it, because that's the only place I can actually find a readable copy of these ridiculous rules that he came up with. So for new fans, you're not allowed to like comics unless you respect artistic integrity. Realize not all art is to be catered to their interests.
Okay, wait a second. Let's go one by one.
Okay.
Respect artistic integrity. Okay, there is like a joke in artists and working on stuff that if you want paid, you have to check your artistic integrity at the door, because the fact of the matter is when you're hired to do a job, it's not about what you want to do, it's about what you're hired to do. If you want to be if you want artistic integrity, you need to work on your own projects, because then you have full control.
Right.
And anybody who has worked freelance in any kind of art will tell you that it doesn't matter what you want, it matters what the client wants. And that could be a pain in the ass, but it's what it is. Yeah. So there's, what do you say about respect artistic integrity?
Well, again, this comes back to who owns the IP. If your work, I've always, and people don't like it, like the artsy people don't like it, but I've been like, you work on somebody else's IP, you're basically making hamburgers. Right? You're making hamburgers. You're making hamburgers at McDonald's. You don't own hamburgers.
Like for Disney Comics, for example, you don't get to make that choice. No. Well, I don't like McDonald's beet that color, so I'm gonna use my artistic integrity to change it to blood red or something like that.
Yeah,
you can't for branding issues, for many different issues.
You're not allowed to.
Okay.
If you want the artistic integrity, just go do your own thing.
Exactly. Then you can have artistic integrity.
Right. Believe it's inherently impossible to know the true direction of a creative work, given that they are not the creator of that work. Respect and is unthreatened by women and people.
I thought we were going to go through these one by one. Stop jumping ahead.
We are. Okay.
Realize not all art is to be created or catered to their interests. Go with that one first.
Okay, well, we will go. So realize not all art. See, we cut so much out when we do this.
Yes, because it's usually me yelling at you. Like, what? Go ahead.
Realize not all art is to be catered to their interests. That basically means you're not going to like everything that's produced, and that's
normal.
Fine. But if a customer, if a fan does not like it, you don't attack them.
Right. No, there's things you're not going to like, and that's to be expected. But, if you can say, hey, I appreciate what you did here, but I don't like this. It doesn't mean how dare you? Toxic fandom, because you didn't like what I did there. Okay, now you can go on to believe.
Now I'm allowed to. Okay.
Now you can move on.
So believe it is.
I'm using my toxic feminism right now to tell you what you can and can't do, which we'll talk about that later. But go ahead.
Down with the patriarchy. Believe it is inherently impossible to know the true direction of a creative work, given that they are not the creator of the work. What?
Yes. Well, yeah. Nobody's gonna know the true direction of the works that people worked on. Yeah, but. That's stupid. That's just stupid.
This is so dumb. So
you won't psychically know what we're thinking because you didn't work on it. So you have to respect and appreciate what we're psychically thinking that you don't know.
Given their so I don't even understand. Yeah, we live on a busy street.
We edit this out all the time.
Oh my God, you would not believe how much time I spend editing out truck noises out of our pre-recorded videos. It's crazy. And part of the reason I have the music in the background, people are like, "What's with the
peppy music?"
The peppy music in the background. A lot of it is to mask all the noise.
Yes.
On the street.
The dog's barking or something like that. The dog goes off. We apologize. But go ahead.
Funny. So respect. Yep. There's a truck. There we go. Respect. Now you know it's live. Respects and is unthreatened by women and people of color. The only woman I am threatened by is sitting right next to me.
You better do what you're supposed to do. Don't make me get the belt.
Is unafraid of and welcomes growth.
We didn't talk about respect and unthreatened by women and people of color. Thing is, most people respect people of color and women. The fact that you don't agree with something they do does not mean you don't respect them or you're threatened by them. For example, I'm a woman, and say we're doing one of our own pieces, and I do something that you don't like. You can still respect me, but tell me it sucks. That's not because you're threatened by me.
No.
But apparently they don't understand the difference between threats and respect, though, because a lot of times people are being respectful, but they take it as disrespect because you disagree.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I know. It's so stupid.
What are you doing?
I'm changing the title of the video because I just realized it came up as a gaming live stream.
Oh, well, no wonder. Way to go.
So we go.
We're going to stop for a second while he fixes this.
Hey, this is the first time we've done this. I'm using OBS.
I'm only doing it if people ask us to. I personally rather just record it because I don't like talking live. Because if I say something stupid, we can't take it out.
Right. So that's me.
And I often say stupid things. So I'm one of those people that I don't think before I speak. So
stay off of social media. There we go. There we go. Now it's not a gaming stream. So everybody's like, why are you
Okay,
why are
anyway,
you
back
gaming?
to this.
Oh my god.
Okay, so what do you have to say about the respects and is unthreatened?
No, I just think this is stupid. I mean, what does it? Can you define like what is threat? Like if you have a disagreement with,
That means you're threatened by them.
A woman, you know, you're threatened by. I mean, I don't understand. I don't understand what this is. What they're saying. I really don't.
You have to respect and be unthreatened. But people are being respectful. They get mad either way, so you can't win.
Yeah, I mean, you can't win. This is like set up to fail. I'm just again, I had to resort to using a Diversity in Comics video on this because I don't have the copy. He pulled it down. There's got to be an archive out there somewhere.
So go ahead. What else?
Is afraid of and welcomes growth.
Unafraid of.
Or unafraid of and welcomes
growth.
growth.
No, here's another one. Unafraid of what? Welcomes growth. Growth is subjective. I mean, okay, so basically what he's saying is they're unafraid and welcomes growth. Growth being what they want. I mean, there's growth and there's growths. Which one is he referring to? Because some of the things are great and some of the things are like cancerous growth.
Oh, God.
So I'm like, is unafraid of and welcomes growth means agrees with everything we're saying and is open and welcome to everything we're doing because that's growth. I
don't even know if I want to go through all these. I'm just kind of like, basically the point of this being is Joe Keone has decided he wants to be the gatekeeper, not only who can be in the comics. We talked about that before with Club Comics, like who gets to actually make comics. But now
they're making rules.
They've extended it to who gets to actually be able to buy the comics.
When you told me there was rules, I thought you meant for the people wanting to create. I didn't know you meant for the fans. No, I like the next one. Delights in their preconceptions being challenged. Yes, yeah, everybody, I mean...
There more?
I don't know, but I'm just like...
He's an idiot.
If delights in your preconceptions being challenged.
Blah, 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 blah.
I'm like... No one delights in their preconceptions being challenged. Why aren't they delighting in their preconceptions about people who they think are, anybody who's in the middle is alt-right Nazi? Why aren't they delighting in their preconceptions being challenged when they find out you aren't?
I don't know.
Because I'm saying it's just one-sided. It is not insufferable. Really well, and not insufferable applies to everyone on both sides. I'm just saying.
So now we've got comics creators who are out there basically trying to dictate who is and who is not worthy of reading, buying their comics, which is so stupid. When you said this, you meant
buying them. I didn't know you meant creating them. I didn't know you meant people buying them.
Yes, this is about the customers. Like, what in the hell?
People don't like money, apparently.
No, this is really what this comes down to, is people don't like money. So John Malin actually put this up a little bit ago. When was the last night? It was last night. I'm in a time warp. I don't know where I'm at. But he's right on here. He's beginning a campaign to remake toxic comic pros working for companies they don't own characters, characters they don't own. From a company perspective, who's with me?
See, this is where we come from. We come from a company, a business perspective. Yeah, this is a business. Exactly.
New pros. This is a business. Respect fans. They decide if we have money or not, or you're fired. No few fans care about your far left or right views on
they
race,
don't care
gender,
about your
and
views
know
on
that
either
you're
side.
A caretaker of not just our characters, but our very fandom. Build fandom, or you're fired.
Right, and that's the way that's always been.
Be, right?
That's the way it's been.
If you can't handle not being able to force your views on fans, don't engage. Yes, for the love of God, if you can't keep your mouth shut, just stay off of Twitter. And I think, these companies are going to have to tighten the reins, I think, on their social media policies, because a lot of their people just literally cannot control themselves. Like, they cannot control themselves.
It's like they feel like because they're getting to work on this, that gives them some kind of a pedestal that they can step on, and their opinion is suddenly more valuable than it was before they did comics. And it's dumb. On both sides. That's what he's saying on either side, and I agree with him there. Right. Now what are you doing?
I am checking to see if we have comments. Okay.
Oh, sorry. He wasn't even looking, guys. Hey, we're gonna live stream, but we're not even gonna look to see what you're saying.
I am so sorry. We have comments. You. No, the problem is I'll tell you what the deal is. No, I'm not ignoring you. Hello, everybody. I want to give a shout out. Fluxcore, Domino Blue 22, The Watcher, Oliver Reeves. No, what's going on is I've never done a live stream before through YouTube. I'm using OBS.
We always use Facebook.
Yeah, usually we use Facebook so we can see stuff, but because I'm using OBS, I really don't have any access to the comments other than to go through my phone. So
we don't answer you right away. We're not ignoring you.
We don't answer you right away. We're not ignoring you. So thank you so much for watching. This is really, we've been talking about this off and on, and it's great to see, somebody like John Malin come out and just like freaking
well, we come from it as a business professional point of view. That's where we've always been. So it's really mind-blowing to me that I would never think, because I worked on something that gave me a right to be like, well, I'm working on I have a strawberry shortcake pop right there. I'm working on strawberry shortcake, so now I get to stand on my pedestal of shortcake and tell you all exactly what I think of your politics and religion and gender and everything else.
No, and that's what it comes down to, and then really that's what they're doing. They're not working. I think a lot of them are not working on these books because they actually love these characters. They want to turn these characters into something else because they love their politics, they love their opinions, and they know a lot of people follow these characters in these franchises. And if people don't like the
change, then it becomes they're toxic.
Right.
They need rules set for them that you should not be insufferable, and you should agree with everything we put out there, and your preconceived notions don't matter. You're just being a bigot because you're not listening to what we have to say.
Yeah, pretty much.
It's like, but when you took a character like Wonder Woman, and now she's a dude, and she, not that happened. I'm just using an example because I'm looking at a Wonder Woman right now.
Right.
And now she's a dude, but she still likes women and all this other stuff going on. And they're changing all these things and everything's changed about her other than the name Wonder Woman. People are gonna get mad.
Yeah, they're gonna get mad. I mean,
sorry, I'm just making up stuff because I'm looking at toys in front of me and just randomly picking toys out.
So
I gotta think of something to do with Voltron next.
Yeah, this is not conversion therapy left or right, and that's it. It almost feels like. I mean, seriously, and I made this comment before. Coming from an evangelical background myself. Mm-hmm. I almost feel like when you talk to some of these people on Twitter, especially, it's almost like they're trying to convert you to their religion.
And if you don't agree wholeheartedly,
right,
then you are a toxic man baby.
A toxic man baby.
Yes.
A white toxic fan.
You're a man baby. Toxic masculinity. And how dare you?
Yeah, it's just it's bizarre. It's just so bizarre.
It is.
It is a religious cult. I mean, it really is. They don't have to think like you. Be a good representative or go fuck yourself.
Yeah, exactly.
We are not a platform for you to harm us or our characters or fans. I agree with it. I agree with all this. This needs to be like mounted and framed on the wall.
I like this one. I like this one a lot.
Respect all colors, especially the color of money. You're only here to maximize cash flow for yourselves, us, and this industry. If we see you undercut it, you're fired. Challenge yourself, artistically grow, improve so you can make more money or you're fired.
Yes.
I love this.
It's a business.
Yeah, this is so great. Delight in your preconceptions being challenged, like money equals bad thing, you weirdo.
Yeah, I know,
go watch that scene with Baldwin from Glengarry. Yes. Replace leads with fans. Imagine he represents us. Talking to you so we don't have to be that guy. Know that you're here to sell. Yeah,
exactly. It's like
coffee,
they don't want us to keep a job. They don't want to stay in business.
Right.
Like coffees for closers.
Coffees for closers.
Yeah, I mean, it's like they're like opposed to like money.
No, that's the whole thing. I don't understand.
How do they think they're gonna have a job?
I don't know if they understand how business actually works. Again, this is where I think that they just have this opinion of having that platform. They want that platform. It's almost like that like college mentality. Like I'm doing my
thesis. What are you talking about?
I'm doing my part. I'm I'm out there.
I got you. You're kind of like all over the place. So
right, I am. I'm trying to gather my thoughts here. And again, we can't edit.
I'm just thinking. I like things like toys and Alex Nani, and it doesn't buy itself, people. So you have to, you're there to make money. And if you're representing an IP at a company, you're there to represent a company. My dad used to work for an airline, and we used to get to fly for free. But when we did that, we weren't allowed to. We had to represent the company, so we were always expected to behave in a certain manner, to dress in a certain manner, because we were representing the company.
I'm, completely floored that. The situation with Star Wars, especially, has really gotten out of control as far as Lucasfilm. Like the stuff that the Lucasfilm employees are saying, like this is I've worked for Disney. You've worked for Disney. We've done work for
we would never think to say things like that.
This would never fly in any other brand. And same with Marvel Comics. Like Lucasfilm and Marvel Comics don't act like Disney companies. No. Like the things that are being said, the things that are they're saying to the fans, this is just not like Disney themselves. Now I don't know if it's because they're an acquisition and they weren't actually brought up in the Disney culture, but Disney themselves they are very much about pleasing people,
right?
About customer service, about almost to a fault sometimes.
Yeah, I think sometimes they are.
But, just Lucasfilm and Marvel Comics have been people, representing those companies have been behaving very, very badly and giving Disney a very bad name. Mm-hmm. And if I were in charge, I'd be like, yeah, you're fired.
Well, at least rein it in.
At least rein it in. Like, I don't care what your political views are, but if you're going to attack fans who think differently or spend all day using our brand recognition to spout off, that's just not cool.
I'm just thinking about all the years of times that people didn't like things and the companies didn't behave that way. It's like, I mean, it's been just a recent thing. Like, there's been many things that people didn't like, and that you didn't hear companies, they didn't say anything. You know, if you can't say nice, don't say anything at all, because, you know, you don't want to lose customers. I mean, they might not like something, but maybe they'll like the next thing, and you don't want to offend them too much, so they don't come back for the next thing. Right. And now it's like they don't give a crap.
They don't care. I mean, I really think, and again, this is that mindset with this dude here, where they don't think the customers are going to go away. They think that they're going to come back for more.
Oh no, they're going to get new customers that they want.
Right.
That they aren't getting.
Right.
Like, that's what I guess they're doing with Star Wars. Well, fine, we're just going to promote to other people. So if you guys don't like it, we're going to go find new fans to promote to. So I think what they're going to try to do.
The Mr. Pete Shell says Bob Iger is an SJW. Kind of. Bob Iger is, now he is a Democrat, but he's also very much capitalist. He has to be. He runs Walt Disney Company. You know, I do believe that he is a little more lenient with some of the left-leaning folks at Disney than he is with the right-leaning.
Yeah.
I mean, just compare The View to Roseanne. Just saying.
There
should be
I'm not
a policy.
Sides on this.
Right.
I'm just saying it should
there
be the same policy
should
for
be a
everyone.
policy across the board. If you are saying or doing things that make the company look really bad, then you should.
The policy should be in effect for everyone the same. I mean, that's my comment on that. I'm not saying which side or other. I'm just saying I think if you're going to punish one person a certain way, other people should get punished in the exact same way.
Right.
It shouldn't be two different standards. But yeah, I really don't. What I hate about the toxic fandom, and especially they're blaming it on white male people all the time, because I hate Last Jedi. I'm a girl. I know a lot of women. And a lot of people that aren't white that did not like The Last Jedi. It's not just white fans who don't like it. That's what I think, and white male fans. Sorry, I mean I forgot that.
No, but it's become the go-to. I mean, I'll come out and say it. It's become the go-to to
blame white guys.
Blame white guys for everything, man.
Well, I mean,
it's just the way it is.
And that's where I hate. That's where I hate the terms toxic masculinity and toxic fandom. Do I think that there are cases of toxic masculinity and toxic fandom? Yes, I do think there are cases of these things. And toxic masculinity, it's basically what they're, and from my understanding of it, what they're trying to say is that men repress themselves to the place of, lashing out in anger. And of course there are some men who are unstable enough that they'll do that. Yeah. Most men don't. And just because you're like taking charge or you're more of an alpha personality does not mean you are toxic. And the same for fandom. It's like the go-to for someone who doesn't agree with you. Well, they don't agree, so they're toxic fandom. And it's like, no, it's, that's overused.
It's overused, and it's basically become I mean, really, I think it's just another way to try to, like, make people who don't like a certain product feel really, really bad about it.
Well, my thing about the toxic masculinity, too, is I think there's such a thing as toxic feminism. Now, according to that Geek Wiki thing, I love this. It's a term used by men's rights advocacy activists. It's a false equivalence. Okay, that's toxic femininity. I'm talking about toxic feminism. Okay. And there's a difference, because toxic feminism, I think I've been a victim of toxic feminism, and that's the other extreme, whereas men should be stricken from the earth. No man is as good as a woman. It's revenge. It's not equality. Because true feminism is equality. Right. It's just like, if you're having to do with a man, then shame on you, shame on him. You need to be either not have sex with anybody or just be with women, because men are bad. And there's just as many examples of that as there are as toxic masculinity. Yeah, I've been a victim of toxic feminism.
Well, of course, yeah, that's something you should tell us.
Couple times.
This is kind of funny, because according to the Fandom Wiki, because that's a reliable source.
Right, it always is.
There is no female equivalent of the ways in which toxic masculinity enables abuse. The concept of toxic masculinity exists to highlight the organized political nature of domestic violence and other forms of violence against women. While abuse by women aimed at adult men exists, it's exceedingly rare. And when it isn't actually self-defense, being mischaracterized. So basically, they're saying women aren't prone to.
I've seen a lot of women that are verbally abusive. Verbally abusive.
There are female comic creators. I'm not going to name them, but you know what? They're out there every day trolling dudes. That's what they do. They get up in the morning, they're like, I'm not going to say
who, but as a woman, I have seen it, and I used to get so mad about it. I will see them. These guys aren't even talking to them. They're not even addressing these women. And then they see it from somebody else sharing it, and then they take it as their personal goal in life to go attack these men who did nothing to them. And sometimes they're not even saying anything that's that bad. But they have to go make an example of them to prove, how much more important women are than men, and put those toxic men in their place, and it's like, but some of them aren't even really being that bad. They're just like saying, I don't understand why they're behaving.
I'm just curious. Since we're live, I'm gonna go out to Google and I'm just gonna Google man baby and see what comes up, because I guarantee you there's let's check the news.
There's the Urban Dictionary. Okay.
Man baby, Trump is giant man baby. Ryan Johnson strikes back at Star Wars man babies. Man baby and is sort of become like synonymous with Star Wars fans now. This is really
which is funny because
creators are telling man babies to stay home. Polygon, yeah, it doesn't surprise me. Man baby could be first person without legal mother.
That's a completely different
Star
thing.
Wars man babies. Here we go. Like this is all like all these stories. Mashable man babies. This is all.
What am I then? Because I hate The Last Jedi. I hated them worse than you did.
No, you're just that's my maleness. That's me exerting my will on you.
No, because you hated them. I actually swung you around to hate them more than you did. Except for Last Jedi. You didn't like The Last Jedi.
Oh my god, this is all like, look at this. You look up man baby in Google News, and almost all the stories are Star Wars related. Like it's become synonymous with Star Wars. Worst Star Wars fans are biggest threat to start man baby. Some Star Wars fans so toxic. Man babies, The Guardian. Racist man babies are whining.
Is it whining or winning? Did they say whining or?
Oh, they're winning. Never mind. Okay, they're winning.
You can't read today either.
I can't read today. This is live. I don't, whatever. But it's almost all like, it's like Star Wars. It's all about Star Wars. God, it's ridiculous.
Either that or Trump. See, it's always about Star Wars or Trump.
Star Wars or Trump. But no, I mean, what gets me about this is just like, it's just like, yeah, it's almost like, it almost feels like a campaign to discredit Star Wars fans who don't like, what's this? I don't want this.
All I'm saying is...
Oh, I thought that was a tampon.
What?
It's a USB cord. Okay, we're good. I thought it was like a
toxic male.
Yeah, no, I'm like, it's a USB cord.
No, but cool. I mean, I'm a chick, and I don't think it's okay to call people, are there people that behave like man babies? I'm sure there are. But what I'm getting mad about is if you disagree with anything that they agree with, that automatically makes you a man baby, automatically makes you toxic. Even if you have a conversation that is a intellectual, well-organized, normal conversation, you're a man baby.
Yeah, you're a man baby.
Because you don't agree.
Well, it's just name calling. It's just bullying and name calling. Nobody's actually sitting down and talking.
You're not allowed to bully back.
I've seen some very well presented arguments as to why
you're not allowed to say woman baby.
I've just seen like, oh, the problem with here, she's got a lot of opinions. She's the one that wrote that story about the Star Wars.
Well, let's not get distracted, okay?
It's something shiny. I have to chase
I know.
Anyway.
You get easily distracted.
But
you have to keep you on task all the time.
No, I just think that really, comic book creators, movie producers, they don't realize, where their bread is buttered. I mean, they're like, eventually you're going to run out of fans to piss off, is what. Well, no,
they're trying to piss them off to get new fans that aren't people that spend money on comics. And we know this for a fact because with webcomics especially, the demographic is usually people who want free. Yeah. So when you want money, they don't want to give you money because they want their free.
Yeah,
so
pretty much.
mean, and the people they're going after are a lot of people who aren't spending money on these things. They're people who torrent movies and who
Well, no, that's just it, and that's what they're. And this is like like a lot of the people who agree that there are problems with comics right now, especially in just pop culture. They're coming out and saying that like the people that they're chasing after are not spending money on anything. Like you may get a lot of upvotes or a lot of likes or whatever on social media, but you're not actually getting dollars.
The sales are going down.
The people who are actually getting dollars are the people who are giving fans what they actually want. And we're seeing this with crowdfunding campaigns, to the tunes of hundreds of thousands of dollars.
Well, that's not new though.
No, it's not new. This has been going on with webcomics for years. But it's interesting that like when you give people something they want and you don't insult them, they actually sometimes they actually give you money sometimes. Imagine that. Imagine that.
If you do good work and you don't be a dick, you get paid. And you might keep your job. Wow, it's a miracle.
Yeah.
I'm still trying to figure out how they're gonna know who can buy comics and who can't when you go to the comic shop with this list of They're gonna walk in the door and ask you questions like you have to answer, like you have to do a questionnaire to.
I swear to God, honestly, some of the comic shops in Portland, I guarantee you, they probably are like they've got. We know they have a list because they kicked that one kid out of the comic shop.
America's Most Wanted, but it's like all these faces from the internet. If you see any of these,
if this person looks like
this
cartoon avatar on Twitter, this person looks like this cartoon avatar on Twitter, then you kick them out of the shop.
No, actually, it's gonna be. Are they white? Are they male? You make sure you question them or go check the list before you sell them anything.
Check the list. Oh my God, can you see that? Check the list. Check the list.
Wouldn't that be racial profiling?
It's racial profiling.
And,
oh my God.
Wouldn't that be like profiling?
If a white dude wants to buy comics, you got to check the list first to see if they're allowed to.
If they're allowed to, because that's that's profiling. I'm just saying.
See if they're allowed. Are they toxic or not?
They have a check next to their name.
My God.
Somebody thought they were toxic.
Oh my God.
It's just I don't know.
We're reaching peak idiocy here. I think we really are. I mean, this is just insane.
I think the whole world's reaching peak idiocy in a lot of things.
The comic book industry is freaking dying. It is dying. Okay. And you can't afford to, and we've said this many times. You can't afford to lose any readers, and they are like just literally just driving people away. It's insane. But now to just be like, I mean, they weren't like before, they were just kind of like name calling the fans, but now they're like, we've got certain criteria that the fans have to meet to be our fans.
I know, it's like you can't be my fan unless you meet these things. No problem, Dillweed. I'm not your fan. I'm not buying your stuff. It's easy as that. But there's a lot of things I buy, and I'm sure I don't agree with the CEO's standpoint on this or that or whatever, but they don't go around attacking me, for disagreeing with them. So I still buy the products. I mean, I'm just saying.
Yeah. So I don't even know where this is going to go. It's just that I'm
swirling
hoping
down the toilet like
it's going down the toilet. Yeah.
It's a swirly.
I mean, I do believe that, these companies are going to have to start getting it through their heads that like they can't just behave the way that they've been behaving, and you're seeing some people get terminated. I mean, you are getting seeing people get terminated. You're seeing Star Wars. They're pulling back on the spin-off stories.
I was sad about that.
Yeah, because I actually so far have liked the Star Wars stories more than the main entries.
The only two movies I like that Disney did.
Yeah, they're the only two. I didn't care for 7 or 8. Rogue One was okay, and Solo was better than I thought it was going to be.
Rian Johnson, his movie. So not only
they're canceling. Yeah, they're canceling the Boba Fett movie. They're canceling the Obi-Wan movie and whatever else they have planned.
But Rian Johnson still has.
Rian Johnson still has.
What's that tell you what their priorities are? But I'm just saying. I mean, it's not reasonable to think that every company has to cater to every person, because there's no way to make everybody happy. It's just not going to happen. But if you see a lot of people upset about something, you should be like, okay, we can't really change it now because it's done.
Right.
We see where you're coming from. We're gonna look into that and work on that in the future. I appreciate your input. Things like that. We can't make everybody happy. We didn't realize it would be this divisive to people. That kind of thing. You don't come back with like, well, you don't like it. You're a toxic fan. Yeah. Screw you, you big man baby. I don't know what they're calling me, woman baby. I mean, because apparently only people who hate Star Wars are white men.
They're calling you a sock puppet account.
Oh, yes, that's what they're calling you.
So you don't actually exist. You can't possibly.
That would be the first time someone told you I didn't exist.
Yeah.
This is just Tom throwing his voice.
Oh my God. Yeah, that's right. I'm really good at that too.
You're just fantastic.
Yeah. Anyway.
I'm a puppet.
I did. We actually had.
Tom's hand is right now.
This is true. This is a true story. I think we talked about in another video one time that I am somewhat
He gets himself in trouble.
I get myself in trouble all the time. So like 10 years ago, I am somewhat indirectly responsible for getting Megatron's head changed in the first Transformers movie.
This is actually true. I can vouch for this.
This is a true story.
Is true.
I'm gonna pull up a movie Megatron here while we talk about this.
The original thing is gone now, isn't it?
It's long gone. Yeah.
But apparently, okay. So what happened was Neon didn't like the way Megatron's face looked like. Basically,
this is the original, right
like
here.
a vagina. Okay, it did.
He did. This is
everybody was saying
vagina.
Everybody was saying it. So he wrote a very nicely worded article, a very professional article about why it was not looking good and why the fans didn't like it and why people were up in arms about it, like just trying to explain like what the issue was.
Right.
To which the producer
Yes.
of Transformers founded.
That was Don Murphy. So what happened was, so I wrote, and this is on my old Blogspot. Like, nobody read this thing, right? And
well, apparently somebody did.
No, what happened was one of the Transformers sites, and I used to be a huge Transformers collector. One of the Transformers sites linked to one of the Transformers sites of Cybertron. They actually linked to my article because I had this, thought. Again, this is like me complaining but trying to be polite about my grievances. And I'm basically like, Megatron.
Yeah, there was no name calling or anything like that.
Transformers don't look anything like Transformers. Like, you're not even trying. I'm like, what in the hell is this? Except that was nicer.
He was very professional.
So to be, completely professional, Mr. Murphy took my post and put on his message board and proceeded to lambaste me all over to his troll army.
Yes, you were an idiot blogger.
I got goat blowing idiot blogger whose mother didn't love me.
Yes, and your wife wasn't real.
And my wife wasn't real. And so anyway, he said, yeah, my wife wasn't real, that she was a sock puppet account. Yada, yada, yada. Long story short, so he went from having this vagina face to, because enough people complained, to not quite as vagina-y. But
hey, but kudos to you, because you must have had a wife. You knew what a vagina looked like.
But no, the funny thing about like all this, the drama there was he actually came back months later.
I was going to mention this. It wasn't that long later. It was only like a few weeks later.
It was a few weeks later. He actually came back and kind of quasi apologized in private on.
Yeah, he wouldn't do it in public.
He wouldn't do it in public, but he came back and apologized. He basically told me, this is my understanding. Was that he wasn't happy with the direction because when they got the rights to the movie, they wanted a Generation 1 Transformers movie.
They wanted to do 80s version.
And it was Michael Bay who wanted the spiky monsters. And so he came back and was kind of like, hey, sorry to put you through that, but I kind of wasn't on board with the whole thing either, and I needed to draw attention to it, but I couldn't actually say it, So that was kind of nice,
I know, but after the fact, like, I didn't mean to beat the shit out of you on the internet, but I'm really sorry for that. But I had to make an example out of somebody, and you happened to be there. So I'm like, but it didn't really work because you kind of took him on just as equally as he took you on. But
yeah, so this has been going on for a while. I mean,
anyway,
back
it's
then,
kind of no point. I mean,
well, no, it does have a point because they didn't call us toxic fans back then.
No, they didn't. They just they called you go blowing idiot blogger.
Yeah. But
with the wife who didn't exist.
With the wife who didn't exist. But like these creators just can't get it through their freaking. I don't know if it's because they sit at home all day and draw comics and they're in this echo chamber.
Creative types are normally very sensitive to criticism, and they're very sensitive. They're always. I can't tell people I know who have like anxiety, depression, whatever, and they're creative.
It's because they're not making money. They have anxiety and depression in the comic book industry because nobody's making money.
But they're doing it to themselves.
Right.
But what I'm just saying is they have fragile egos to begin with. And one of the first things we tell people, if you're going to do this, you need to get a thick skin. And you need to get thick skin quickly. Because, there goes a car.
There goes a car.
He's going to hit my thick skin.
See, I can't edit that out. This is how we know it's live.
Anyway, but I'm just saying, you learn really quick that business is business, job's a job. I have more trouble than you do because I'm a girl and I automatically lean more emotional, especially once a month. I get very emotional.
Well, speaking of which, this is one thing we had. Okay, I gotta pull this up.
Now what are you doing?
I'm pulling up.
Oh, this. Oh my god.
This is okay.
Oh my god.
So I gotta bring this up because again, speaking of people being overly sensitive, speaking of comics,
drink in case you hear a pop bottle opening.
It's not alcohol. It needs to be.
Almost got an alcohol. I almost took a beverage to this one. I almost did.
Hasbro was determined to use trans tech-like designs. Hey Nick, yeah, I actually heard that, and it was kind of weird because the original, like I saw that the Optimus Prime could have actually been a lot worse than he actually was. He didn't look anything like Optimus Prime. At least he kind of did.
Yeah, I don't think he was that bad.
Actually, Optimus was probably the least offensive, I think.
Oh, but Megatron was a nightmare.
Megatron
I don't know
horrible.
what the heck that was.
Whoa, hey, this is new. So this is on The Beat. Talking about, artists being sensitive.
We're probably commenting on that one.
I was commenting on this one, actually.
I believe.
But we had a lot of indie comics types freaking out over the...
Oh, this is a guy who said that you weren't that when you made the comment that you weren't a real comics person.
Oh, yeah. So this dude, this is this Durf, not his real name, I'm sure. But he's an indie comics type.
Yeah, that's like a Durf.
And anyway, he was, they were talking about how if Trump Care kicked in, that most cartoonists, and I just brought this up because we're talking about comics and money, that most cartoonists wouldn't be able to afford healthcare because that's how far the industry is.
But most people couldn't afford healthcare. It's not just
right.
exclusive to comic people. I mean, I know a lot of people who work other jobs who aren't given healthcare that can't afford healthcare. It's not a artist-centric problem.
But check out the comment.
Nor do you deserve healthcare because you work as a freelancer.
Right. Well, that was it. It was almost like that. It was that oversensitivity, like because there was criticism, and we actually started out I did make some comments on this post, but it was kind of like, everybody's in the same boat, and the poor cartoonist is like, you picked a bad career. We gotta
do a thing on that.
We're going to. We're
about
gonna do
why comics is probably not the best choice, or if you're gonna do it, make sure you have a job while you do it.
And oh my God, the comments just go on and on and on, and it's funny because McDonald's not used to getting these.
Oh look, there's somebody I reckon.
Who's that? Right there with that little clownfish face. It just goes on and on and on and on and on and on. And actually, most of the people in the comments were like, you picked a bad career choice. You should have.
What is the point of this? Why are we bringing this up right now?
I'm bringing it up because you said about cartoonists having really sensitive.
Oh, they're very sensitive. Okay.
And they can't handle.
I'm trying to.
No. They can't handle any kind of. They can't handle any kind of like. Criticism, or even if it's not criticism, just kind of like, observations
for example, which this will tie into doing the video on working in comics and the reality situation. I can't tell you how many people I've seen, because I frequent a lot of independent art and webcomic type communities.
Yeah.
Where people, because they went to school for art, or because their friend says they draw good, and they don't want to do retail anymore. And they hate retail. Retail is the bane of all these people's existence. I hate retail. No one really likes retail. Let's be honest. I've done retail. It wasn't the greatest thing ever, but it paid bills.
Right. And
so their answer was they're going to quit their job. They're going to move to wherever, and they're going to do art full time, because it's just that easy, and all these people, what my point of this is, I've often told them, don't do that. That's a bad idea, and I'll tell you why. I'm not saying stop doing art. I'm saying work towards something until you get to a place where you can do it, and you have it saved, and you are financially able to do so before you just go jumping into it. Because out of all these people, almost all of them have gotten burned so bad they had to go back to their parents' house, or something happened. They got stuck out there, and then they were like living on a friend's couch, and all these other things happened because they, But when I would say to them logically, this is a bad idea because this, and this, I was told I was negative. I was told that I was jealous.
Yeah. That's the comic career.
Yes, that I don't understand that they can't live in this lifestyle because of their anxiety and depression. I'm thinking, I've got anxiety and depression, people. And going to no money makes your anxiety and depression much worse.
You think that to try to pull yourself out of the situation you're in, that you would try to be nicer to fans, so they buy your stuff so you're not so poor.
But they're not looking at it in that way. They're not looking at you trying to help them. They're looking at you as like saying, maybe if you change these things, people would like it more. You're just criticizing them, and they can't take the criticism.
Nope. And that's it. And that's
a true babiness, people.
That was that was actually the purpose of my bringing that up, was the comments were ridiculous on this, and basically it was just like, comics is a very dodgy industry. This is common knowledge. Comics is not a stable profession for most people.
Even if you're somebody that's a name, it doesn't mean you're going to have work.
Right. So complaining that you're not going to have health care
in a dodgy
industry that is just kind of pointless, because it is what it is, and it elicited like hundreds of comments. It just, how dare you? You don't know anything about comics. I'm like, bullshit.
High up marketing before with companies and didn't have health insurance.
Health insurance is expensive.
If you want a job with health insurance, go get a degree in something that often has health insurance, like teaching, or something like that.
Yeah.
Anyway.
So wow, we got 31 people watching. What the hell happened? So that's wow. Okay. Wow, we got a bunch of people on here. Okay, hold on.
Oh, they all say we hate you.
Wow,
Like,
God.
You suck, I hate you.
They're actually, everybody's being really cool, and I'm so sorry that we're not seeing the comments right away, because they're sort of like, I'm actually looking at the comments on my phone because I'm using OBS to
Well, if
stream.
He starts stuttering or stops talking, he's reading something. That's why I'm if he's just like, that's because he's reading.
Yeah,
he can't do two things at once. It's just not something he can do.
I really, and we've said this before on podcast, I really think that a lot of this comes down to money. I think it comes down to, like we're talking about, these people being so like overly sensitive, and it's almost like they want to create this like perfect little bubble that they live in, that so their biscuit's not taken away, that little crumbs that they have.
All they're doing is creating something that's going to take their biscuit away.
Yeah.
Or, the thing is, no two people's bubble is going to be the same, because not everybody agrees with everybody else on everything. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So I'm like, you're gonna inadvertently get mad at everyone for something. If you're that sensitive, everybody's going to tick you off. Even people that agree with you on a lot of things might disagree with you. Well, that's what happened to you. You mean, a lot of things you agree with them on, like, equality, not treating people like, letting other groups in, doing things like, you agree with that.
Yeah.
What you disagree with is when people come in there and use it as a platform and they start making comments against anybody who's not like them. And that's what you disagree with. But you're not allowed to say that.
And the funny thing is,
they can't handle it.
No, and it's funny because I thought you could find common ground with people, and then you realize like there really is no common ground. You're batshit crazy, and you can't argue with crazy. And
no, you can't argue with crazy. I've tried.
There were some people on there that were supposedly, on Twitter. I got into it with Josh Epstein. I'll say who he is because he's out there on Twitter every day, like harassing people. And I was trying to find some common ground with him because he said in his profile he's a centrist. I'm like, okay, well,
that's what we are.
And just for the record, I'm not a Republican. I'm not. I'm actually.
I don't think we're Democrat either.
We're moderate. Yeah, we're independent voters. Tend to lean left, but it depends on the circumstances. Depends on the topic.
We actually look at we actually just look at each person and go from there.
Right.
We don't just
Who's the
lean
best
to
candidate?
one party
Right.
specifically. We're actually legitimately in the middle.
Yeah, and there are
who
things.
Who do we think is going to do the best for people in general?
Yeah, I mean, there are things that I agree with more on the Republican side, and there are things that I agree with, more on the Democrat side. It just depends on what the topic is. And I think most people in America anymore are that way. The vast majority of people are sort of,
I think, like I said to you before, I think if you made a giant Venn diagram and you put all these people in there and what they like, I think you're going to find more common ground than not. But everybody's so trained to fight each other now, like they're addicted to fighting, that they don't even look at the common ground anymore. Or if you try to find common ground, they don't want to hear it. They just want to hear, well, here's why you're wrong. Everybody wants to be right, and it's scary.
Richard Corwin, is it okay that I'm white and male to be here? Sure.
Yes. You're allowed to. Here's a safe space.
Oh my God! Unlike the Emerald City Comic Con, where if you were
I was mad about that.
A straight white dude, you were not allowed to.
There would have been parties for me though. There would have been parties for you.
Tim Doyle. Have you heard of Tim Doyle? Yeah, I've never had a run-in with Tim Doyle. I mean, honestly, I don't get into the Twitter drama too much.
We have enough drama in our own lives.
Yeah, I got sucked into this whole Comicsgate thing with. I did an article on Marvel Comics sales numbers.
Not knowing what was going on.
Yeah, because, by day, I'm a travel blogger, and we do a lot of stuff covering Disney.
And we've done comics.
And we've done comics before, so I'm like, okay, well, I'll take a crack at what is wrong with Marvel. And I didn't realize, because I'd stopped reading monthly comics a while ago, and I'm like, I didn't realize Marvel was hurting that badly, and I looked into it, I'm like, oh my God.
We were more coming from an angle of Marvel goes down, what is it going to do to
everything,
comic book industry?
The entire comic book industry
a bad thing.
goes down. So, I started putting these articles out there, and I started getting jumped on Twitter by the crazies on Twitter.
Yeah, I'm trying to figure out how we can be a libtard snowflake and an alt-right Nazi at the same time, but somehow we are.
It depends on who you ask,
So that's when you got called an alt-right Nazi.
Yeah, I know. I got called an alt-right Nazi, and I'm like, I'm not even right-wing.
Well,
what the hell is wrong with you?
You do shave your head, though.
I do. I shave my head because all my hair is falling out because these people are freaking nuts. That's why I shave my freaking head.
That's true,
God,
actually.
These people are crazy. And actually, it was kind of a place where I think John Malin is at.
Yeah, that's basically where we're at.
Yeah, I mean, I think he even came out and said he was actually an Obama supporter, and then he just, he started getting jumped for being an alt-right Nazi. I'm like, how do you go from an Obama supporter to be an alt-right Nazi? Okay, I get it because
you talk to.
You disagreed with the comics
mafia.
The comics mafia. This is like being the king of the crap, right? I mean, there's nothing left of it.
It's just so out there and crazy. I don't even know how to. And it's hard when you're coming at it logically, which is, logic for me is hard to begin with because I'm not saying because I'm a woman, but I'm one of those women who are like more about emotions than logic most of the time. Gets me in lots of trouble. And I'm even coming at this like, what the hell's going on? I'm a teacher too, so I'm like, you go to the corner, and don't come out until you can behave yourself and get along.
Yeah. Jacqueline O'Geary says I should shave my genitals.
Well, that's up to you. That's personal
that
choice.
is up to you, my dear.
It's a personal choice.
That is up to you.
Depends what you like. I'm not going to judge you either way.
Richard Corwin said, not liking the current narrative concerning not only comics but entertainment industry as a whole. Yeah, and it's just gotten really weird in the last couple of years. It's only been the last 4 or 5 years that
it's gotten really crazy.
I don't know what happened exactly. I mean, everything was. I mean, you always had people that were further left in Hollywood, but then they went from that to like just ridiculously crazy. Like I don't understand.
I don't understand
what happened. I really don't understand what happened.
I agree that I see why they're trying to have more representation, but I mean at the same time it's just like it's just a mess. It's just a mess.
It is a
and
mess.
you could used to be able to not like something and say I don't like something, and it was okay. And you could say I do like this because this and this, and if from a business standpoint this, and it was okay.
Yeah.
But now you can't do anything because you're bad no matter what you do.
You're bad.
You're
bad.
You're either an alt-right Nazi or you're a libtard snowflake. It just depends on who you ask. You could be the same person, and but you're one depending on the day. You're one or the other. Now what are you doing?
Oh, I was just looking back at the good times on the comment section.
I don't really want to review that. It's just going to make me mad again. My blood pressure's bad
So
enough.
what was the point of this? The point of the podcast was, it's just like...
Oh, it was me, because I don't like the terms toxic masculinity and toxic fandom. That was the whole point.
And I think that... I really think that the opposing side, whatever the opposing side is using that story... to discredit fans, to just kind of blow them off. I think
it's an excuse for everything too. Like you can, so like if I'm a female, I created something and it doesn't do well because maybe I dropped the ball, maybe it wasn't doing so great. Then I can just take these toxic masculinity, toxic fandom. That's why it didn't succeed because I can put the blame on somebody else and never have to blame myself for what was wrong with it. And I think that's part of it too. You're not listening to me anyway because you're reading comments.
Oh no, I'm listening.
What did I just say?
Toxic mess.
Yeah, exactly.
No, I'm trying to answer people so we're not like, because we have all these comments coming in and I'm trying to like not like
this
leave
is
people
my
out.
life.
I'm sorry.
You better be.
I am sorry.
Get my toxic feminism here and beat
no,
you
we
down.
had somebody, Jamie Tron once said I'm left, but SJW Marvel has alienated the hell out of me. Yes.
Yeah, that's where I'm coming at too now.
I don't even recognize most of the characters anymore. And I thought, okay, so can we talk about that real quick?
Go ahead.
So
Okay.
Marvel,
Here,
yeah, it is getting hot in here. Had turned the air conditioner
It's
off because
me,
nobody wanted to
you
hear.
know.
I know you're hot. So anyway, we had Marvel. They fired Axel Alonso, which kind of figured would happen given the bad press and given it was Disney. And I'll touch on something else about that here shortly.
Be careful what you're touching.
Yeah. Okay. Oh. I think your volume is on the low side, guys. Let me see.
It might be. It's all. I'm always low on these.
Here, let me crank up the audio.
Now it's gonna be very loud. And they're gonna be like,
right?
"Oh my god, she's so annoying." Anyway, go ahead.
So anyway, they had. They fired Axel Alonso. They brought in CB Cebulski. Everybody was like all excited. CB Cebulski was coming in. They're like, this guy's gonna right the ship. Yada yada yada. That really has not happened with Marvel. They actually sort of are kind of. Like they had a couple of months where it looked promising, and now they're going right back to where they were before. I mean, they're bringing Iceman back with Cena Grace, the same creative team, same writer that sort of like tanked it the first time, and there's been no change. And I mean, personally, I think it's because of the whole thing with him using the Japanese pen name. I think it came out, and now they've sort of can like put their thumb on CB and be like, you white man, baby.
It just creates peer pressure too. When you're surrounded by people that are like, telling you have to do it this way all the time. It might just be easier to deal with these people and do what they want than it is to make a change.
Yeah, I think so. But anyway, with Marvel, like it's just I actually had some hope, and I don't really have that hope anymore. I think Marvel's gonna be what Marvel's gonna be now. About that though, Disney is gonna buy Fox. They're gonna have to pony up $71 billion.
Well, unless Comcast comes back with something else.
I doubt
it. They do is just to drive the price up.
Well, Comcast drove the price up, so now we're talking $71 billion to buy, or for Disney to buy Fox. Disney's gonna be hurting for money. Okay.
Yeah.
So I'm still thinking one of these days Disney's just gonna cut Marvel Comics loose, or just be like,
they have to keep Marvel for the movies,
right? But I'm thinking that they will
job
job out the comics to another publisher because it doesn't make sense for Disney really to do it.
Not financially. No.
And it's a pain in the ass. I mean, Marvel.
If
Comics
somebody else is gonna pay you money to let them make
right.
the comics for you to license it, and you're making money not having to put all the money into it.
Yeah.
I mean, that sounds like a Disney move right there.
Why? But yeah, I am totally on board with what John Malin is saying here. So, this is just interesting times. I think we're gonna wrap this up here.
Reasonable business, etiquette. I mean, it's reasonable. It's just, I think that's why everybody like, hey, there's another vehicle. Hey, how's it going?
Another vehicle.
So it's just reasonable. I think.
Yeah.
And it's taking emotion and taking, personal, the preferences out of it and just making it about business, which is what it should be, because it's a business.
Yeah.
I can't go work in another business and be like, well, now that I got a job here, I'm going to tell all the customers that come here, if they don't agree with me, they should just leave because we don't want their money. I won't think I'd had that job very long.
No, in any other industry you wouldn't, but comics and entertainment has just gone crazy. And no, it's not toxic. for fans or consumers to want certain things,
or to say I don't like this. When
right,
it gets toxic,
right.
is if you're driving people, you're deliberately targeting people and going beyond what is reasonable. That's not good. But I mean, voicing your opinion and saying I don't like this because this, and this, and then getting upset when they basically tell you to piss off is not unreasonable.
Hey, Aaron's here. Aaron Sparrow.
Oh, I couldn't see.
Yeah, Aaron was actually on. He was actually
Aaron.
on. He was
I
on the
didn't
other.
talk to you the other day.
No, he was actually on the other day, and we talked about some of this with the comic book industry kind of like burning to the ground, and
well, it's not the same as it was for the years we've been around it.
No, it's not. It's definitely changed in the last couple of years. Yeah, Aaron is late to the party because we're actually going to wrap things up pretty soon. Yeah. Sorry, Aaron. But yeah, I mean, this is a lot of things that a lot of creators are saying. Aaron actually echoed some of this the other day with, if you don't own the IP.
Well, but that's common sense.
Right. You would think it's common sense, but I don't think it's common.
As people who worked on IPs before, I'm telling you, we had to sign agreements saying that we recognize that this is not our IP, that we are being, work for hire, and that we have to do what they tell us and everything else. We've had to sign contracts like that, and now we aren't allowed to talk about it because we have NDAs and things like that.
Yeah.
So I mean, I'm still not understanding how it went from one thing to the other. I just don't understand it.
I think it's just I think it comes down to money. I think it's the caliber of. I mean, and this is.
Well, not everybody sucks. That sounds like everybody sucks.
No, I'm not saying no, I'm saying that. I think the expectations are lower because you get people. Comics does not pay well.
No,
so you get people that frankly aren't used to making a lot of money anyway. They just want to tell their stories and whatever, and they come into it with a different mindset than somebody who's like a diehard capitalist that wants to come in and make a bunch of money. And I think that's really where it shifts because really the people who made a lot of money in comics, they left comics.
Well,
they did something else.
Eisner's all about capitalism and making money, and now they give awards out in his name that's all about the opposite, which is a whole other podcast, which we got to do.
We have to do, yeah. The Eisner, yeah. Will Eisner
the award ceremonies are so bought and paid for. I have so much to tell you about that.
Oh my god, yeah. It's all a big circle jerk. Will Eisner was a diehard capitalist. Like this guy was all about making money.
He even said he will hire someone who can get it done over someone who's better every day of the week because it's about getting it out there and making money.
He was good, and then now the Eisners are being used to
who has the most indie obscure
right. That was not Will Eisner.
Jerk bullcrap, and that
was not Will Eisner. Will Eisner was all about making money, getting stuff out there in big ways, and it wasn't until his later years that he sort of scaled back a little bit. But Eisner was he was not. He would be ashamed, I think, of.
But anyway, we're trying to wrap this up, and I just gone another tangent, so I'll shut up now.
All right. Well, we are gonna wrap this up. So anyway, this thing right here.
This is really long.
This Joe. I've seen live streams go for like 2 or 3 hours, and I think you just get.
I don't feel as bad then.
But like, this is just.
Still say it looks like cojones.
Joe Cojones.
Like I said, you can't have cojones.
You don't have cojones.
You're not allowed to anymore.
Joe.
Unless you're a girl. Then you can
wrong.
have cojones.
You're wrong, and you're wrong to demand that customers be a certain way or think a certain thing, so it doesn't hurt your feelings. And that's probably why you took your tweets down. John Malin is right. John Malin is very, very right.
When you told me they put up a rule of rules, I thought you meant for people wanting to be creators. I didn't know you meant the customers because that's so out there. I couldn't even wrap my head around it.
Yeah. So here we have, Aaron said, if I had talked to anyone while doing work for Disney like Lucasfilm Marvel employees do, I'd have gotten a call within a half an hour.
Yeah, us too.
I've gotten calls. I have literally, I've gotten calls. I've gotten calls. I've gotten emails. I've actually gotten, working on the travel blog. I misspelled an attraction name that one time, and I got an email within a half an hour. Of like, could you please change this because that's not what it's
not right,
called.
and we have to make sure that you have branding guidelines, and you need to stick within these guidelines. If you write an article that they're checking into, it'll take you months to get it done because it has to be approved by so many people to make sure that is to their standards and guidelines. That's why I'm so blown away by the behavior because
Lucasfilm and Marvel.
Because I know Disney proper would not allow this behavior.
Well, that's the thing. Like, Lucasfilm and Marvel don't behave like other Disney companies, and we've said this before. Like, I don't understand. I don't know this because they were sort of grafted in, and they already had their own...
making money. They let them do whatever.
Yeah, well, that's.
But when it's not making money, then they're starting to step in and be like, whoa! Now it's time for us to step in and take a look at it.
Yeah.
So
I don't know.
Anyway,
so we will see what happens. But this is not right, and this is right, and this.
Yeah, that's very sexist and racist.
This is problematic for a number of reasons.
Because if you change that to any other type of person. If it said Star Wars has a, Asian female fandom problem, what would happen? I'm just saying.
Yeah. And she's not. I don't.
I'm
a
a woman, and I did not like it. I really don't like it at all. So.
Yeah.
And I know a lot of women who don't. I know a lot of people with different colors that do not. A lot of people with different sexual orientations who do not like it. So, it's not just a certain type of person. It's just some people don't like it.
Actually, I've seen more white males trying to apologize for The Last Jedi, thinking that they're going to score some points with
that's true.
with the ladies, and the ladies don't like it either.
I had to take on some people. I had to take on the women who were taking on men, calling them man babies and stuff. And I'm like, hey, I'm a woman. I didn't like it. I didn't like it for these reasons, and laid it out rationally and in a nice professional manner, and they backed off because, oh no, here comes another vagina. I better back away. We can't take that.
Wait, what?
No.
I just heard here comes another vagina. We better back away.
No, when I come these women, because a couple of them have taken me on before.
Yeah.
And when they find out I'm a woman too, they back down. Like,
oh my
I can't
God.
take you on because there's another vagina. Well, one didn't have a vagina, but wish they had a vagina.
No. Okay, so, and I'm not going to name names here, but one of the people
I
who
didn't know
spends all of their days attacking fans and YouTubers on Twitter tried to take on Geeky Sparkles on a webcomics forum that person was not even part of. They just jumped into it. Oh, they got called in by one of the posse because Geeky Sparkles said, "Hey, I think these comic skaters."
What I said was
kind of a point.
I think I said was, look, I don't agree with anybody, harassing other people. I don't agree with people making fun of your friends or whatever. But I also know that my husband's been targeted and all this other stuff, and all he did was say, "Hey, these numbers are bad," and he got called.
Yeah, it doesn't take much. It doesn't take much.
They tried to take me on. Long manifesto. I didn't even read the manifesto. I was like, "Look, I got to get up in the morning to get on a plane to go do work that's not comics related. Thank God." And I just basically said it again. They backed off, but I'm just saying, and when I took on somebody about Star Wars too, it was another female trying to learn a bunch of men on the board, and I stepped in on behalf of the men and said, "Hey, this is not right," because they're all like, they keep having this perception that guys don't like it because they don't like strong female characters, and that's why, if you ask most people, that's not why they don't like it. Actually, the one who had the biggest problem with Rey that I know of is me.
Yeah, you actually.
All my male friends didn't have a problem with Rey. I did. So anyway, I'm just saying, but they back off when another woman comes in. They back off because no, here comes another vagina, so I better back down.
Okay.
That's what I was saying. I wasn't.
I just heard.
I'm sorry to excite you about two vaginas, but
2 vaginas at once.
My mother better not listen to this.
She probably is. She's probably on. That would be hilarious.
Her children better listen to this.
Oh my God.
The my son going, "I don't know you, mother."
Yeah.
Okay, anyway,
I think we're gonna wrap this one up.
It's very hot in here.
Again, I was trying to get the point across. This
somehow
is bad.
We end up with 2 vaginas.
This is a bad thing to say. Don't say this. This is stupid and sexist and racist and dumb. And I'm sorry, I'm not following you on Twitter because you sound really
Well, that's
dumb.
okay. You're already on the block list.
I'm probably on the block list already.
So it doesn't matter.
This is a stupid, dumb thing to say, to put qualifiers on potential customers. You're dumb.
I mean, even if some of the things, I understand
down.
what they're trying to say at the heart of it, and some of the things, I think they might have a point, they would worded it better, but the way they worded it was shitty. But go ahead, anyway.
Yeah, and then, this is right. I agree with this. That's really all I want to say.
But it took an hour and a half to say so.
Correct.
But it took an hour and a half to say so. I don't know how long it's taken. How long have we been talking?
Dumb and correct.
However, when you're saying dumb, you're not saying the actress was dumb. You're saying, because I actually like her.
No, not at all. Not at all.
I don't like Rose. I thought Rose was a stupid character, but I do like the actress. She's actually very sweet, and she's so excited it makes you want to smile and hug her because she's so dang cute. I just think she's fun. He has since deleted his Twitter page. Are we talking about that Joe Cajones has he deleted the well, it's funny, you can
thread.
hear the volume coming out of the phone and probably going back in the microphone, so they're hearing
Feedback.
it a delay. If you're hearing some weird delay, it's Tom's fault.
Yeah, sorry. He deleted the whole thing. Probably Marvel said this is a really stupid thing to say too. And so did Disney thinks this is stupid.
It's just stop baiting people.
Stop baiting people.
I mean,
this is common sense.
Just
John Malin actually has
do good work.
sense.
And if you do good work and not be a dick, you'll sell books. I mean, it's not that hard to understand.
I can't even can't believe we're having these conversations. I can't believe that we're having these conversations now, that we actually like fans actually have to deal with this, and I blame social media.
I blame a lot of things on social media. I think there's a lot of things wrong with this world because of social media. But that's another story entirely. But anyway, are you still going to go on, or are we still you're answering questions?
No, I think we can answer a couple questions. We'll be around for a couple minutes yet, but yeah, this is our first attempt at a live stream. Sorry if it sucked.
I didn't want to do it live.
You did get to hear about 2 vaginas at once. We didn't do it live. We probably would be pulled off the air if we did. But we do appreciate everybody coming in. Hopefully if we decide we want to do another one of these, it'll go a little smoother next time. So, and you'd be surprised how much I cut out of our videos just because.
Well, usually it's because I go off on a tangent and he's like, I can't put that on the internet. And I'm like, dang it.
Yeah.
I have a mouth. I do. It gets me in so much trouble. I try to be good though.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. You said 2 vaginas at once. So I kept thinking it was the old Megatron and me are sitting here, and never mind. We don't have a Megatron here, ironically.
2.
I'm looking at a
She-Ra. 2 vaginas
She-Ra.
at once.
I'm looking at She-Ra, a Catra, a Voltron, a Wonder Woman.
Oh, this is
Grimlock.
This is on the desk.
Red, Stay Puft Marshmallow Man, Optimus, Voltron, Joker, Batman, and Strawberry Shortcake Pop Vinyls, and an Epcot pin.
Yeah,
so if I was pulling weird examples, because whatever toy I was looking at the second was what I was going to use as an example.
Like Aaron Sparrow, you owe them your money because of like socialism or whatever. Yeah, pretty much. They have to pay for their. Well, no, they don't pay for it. They have to get healthcare. They're gonna have to start paying for it.
Well, everybody else is too. That's what
yeah,
I guess the only points I made was like, so do a lot of people, and it sucks, but it is what it is, you know.
We want to do a video on, and we'll do that later, and it will be edited, so we're not all over the place. But we'll talk about the how much money comic book creators actually make now, and I think that actually kind of dovetails with why they're acting so nuts on Twitter, because the truth is they're not making a lot of money.
And then there's, the whole other angle on that is some of the people who are saying I'm professional, but they're not making money, their spouses or their person that's with them is, and then they're living on that, and then that sets off a false.
Oh my God!
That's another one we won't even start, but it sets off a false, it's not a false premise for people that they think they're making all this money and they're professional and they're not.
So
we're not gonna go
many
there.
people working in comics. No, I'll just mention it real quick because it's a teaser for the video that we're gonna do. And we'll do it talking about money. There's so many people working in comics right now that work quote unquote full time in comics that are actually just being kept by a spouse or a significant other because the money is
full time on their comics.
We've been on panels with these people.
Oh, no. I remember the one lady told everybody how to get a job on the panel, and I won't talk about that right now.
Yeah.
But we'll save that for that one.
Well, that one person's actually doing very, very well for herself in comics right now.
She served a lot of men drinks and fallen all over them. Like, she told us how to get
that was the secret that we were told on that panel, is you basically buy men drinks at bars to
find out where the editors and stuff go, intercept them, grab their drink for them, intercept them, so you have an opportunity to bat your eyes and talk to them, and then you get a gig. But
it has worked.
For that person, but they would never admit that publicly now because that would go work against them with the way things are, So anyway, that's another topic.
Yeah, because men are good when they can get you something.
Wrap it up.
Sorry.
I like you better when you buy me things. I'm just.
I know,
I'm
right?
Kidding. I'm joking. Wrap it.
But
up.
not enough to give me 2 vaginas at once.
No. No, that's grounds for divorce.
Anyway,
me and Megatron both looking at you.
Yeah.
That's grounds for divorce.
Yeah. Okay. So that actually has happened before. Anyway, John Malin, smart guy.
Okay, we got the
Joe Cajones, not smart. That's.
I don't think his name is Cajones.
That's Joe Cajones.
You can't have Cajones in comics.
Joe Cajones, not smart. John Malin, smart. And I think we're done.
If you have Cajones, it's toxic masculinity and alpha male mentality, and you're not allowed to do that.
Yeah. So if you're gonna make comics, if you're asking people for money, don't be a douchebag. Because people don't like to give money.
People don't like what you're doing. That's okay. They don't have to like what you're doing, but you don't have to engage with them either.
No, you know what? If your fans, really, seriously, if they're giving you money and you personally don't like them, then just don't talk to them. But take their money because you need the money to buy health insurance.
Right, but don't take them off either. Just don't be nice to say.
Stay off of social media. Just if you can't,
don't say anything at all.
Right. How hard is that?
There's a reason why that's been passed down over the years.
Yeah, and yeah.
And really hot. It's hot in here. Our air conditioner's off because it was too noisy. So
we're going to wrap this one up. This is all over the place. Thank you for watching. Next time will be better. Thank you for the comments.
That's what you tell me every time.
And...
I'm sorry.
I have been telling you that for 17 years, and I'm going to make good on that promise someday, just so you know. Someday it's going to be
Okay,
really,
okay.
really good.
I'm sorry. I just say random things. That's why we edit. Go ahead. Anyway.
So anyway, we are going to log off.
Yes, please do before I say something
please do.
stupid.
Please don't unsubscribe from the channel. Please subscribe to the channel. Tell your friends and family to watch.
Wait, I don't know if I tell your family.
Don't tell your family. Tell your friends.
It depends on how old your family is.
Yeah, and wow. Okay. Anyway, we're gonna log off.
Yes, please do. So.
Bye.